Tonight from Franklinville, New Jersey, it is the South Jersey Group 3 playoffs. The number 7 seed Camden Panthers taking on the number 2 seed Delsea Crusaders. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to John Oberg Stadium. I'm Jack Hibbard along with Marc Narducci, and welcome to another season of football here on CN8. It's the postseason, and it's what everybody shoots for, Marc, at the beginning of the year. These two teams, just two out of the field here in South Jersey, very privileged to be playing for something at this time of the year. But, Marc, we've got one team that's familiar with this territory and another team that hasn't been here in a long time. Take a look at this statistic, folks. The Camden Panthers making their first appearance since 1988. That's a long time. And, of course, Delsea very familiar with this territory, Marc. Delsea's earned the number 2 seed. Let's face it, 7-1 this year. The only loss, we saw it right here on CN8 earlier in the season, to their arch rival Deptford. Camden, on the other hand, gets in as the 7th seed, Marc. They're a dangerous 7th seed because you never know which Camden team's going to show up.
You don't, Jack. You wonder, is it the team that beat Holy Cross 46-14, the team that lost just 16-14 to the number 1 ranked Camden Catholic Irish, or the team that lost 31-6 to Winslow Township and committed 18 penalties? This has been an up-and-down team. Everybody in Group 3, though, fears them because they have such tremendous speed and game-breaking ability.
Well, they really do, and the guy that really makes that happen on offense is the outstanding senior captain, Shamari Moore, having a great year, Marc.
He really is, Jack. He's rushed for 1,111 yards, 15 touchdowns, as you see. He also returns punts. He returns kickoffs. He'll play in the secondary. A lot of people know him as the point guard for the basketball team, but he's also a Division 1A football prospect. Kentucky among the schools he's considering.
Well, you look at Camden. They're going to be a running attack team. If you look at Delsea, they're going to want to win this in the trenches. And if you want to win it in the trenches, you want to have a guy 6 foot, 290 pounds like Greg Wynn.
Well, he's one of the best defensive linemen in all of South Jersey, and he's a playmaker. As you see last week against Clearview, he makes the tackle, Jack, steals the ball. Now there's a 290-pounder going into the end zone, and that's his 2nd touchdown of the year. He also has 7 tackles for loss. He's a load, and he's a guy Camden really has to block.
Boy, and you know he's got to love that highlight on CN8 tonight. A little 290 with some speed, huh? Hey, Marc, one thing both coaches will be very happy about tonight is the hurricane winds that we've had here the last couple of days have just about subsided. So the weather, although it's very cold, won't be a factor, but these teams have got to stay away from mistakes tonight, Marc.
Well, they really do. That's been Camden's problem, a little bit of inconsistency. The other thing is, Jack, with this weather, both teams love to run the ball anyway. I don't think we'll see a lot of passes tonight.
Well, it's a new season, as we said, the South Jersey Group 3 playoffs, and it's Camden and Delsea coming up right after this. Stay with us. Welcome back to John Oberg Stadium. I'm Jack Hibbard along with Marc Narducci for this first-round game in the South Jersey Group 3 playoffs. And you saw just moments ago the Camden Panthers seated 7th in this Group 3 tournament, taking on the 2nd seed Delsea Crusaders. Here's our game time weather, 37 degrees, and it is cold down on the field because the wind's still kicking up steady at 12 miles an hour, but it's a little windier than that, gusts higher than that. Nothing like it's been the last couple of days, but still windy out there. But otherwise than the cold temperature and an occasional breeze, Marc, it's November, and this is football weather.
Yeah, but it is still officially cold out, Jack. And as you see, Mark Peace, who's done a fine job with this team, 31-27 in his 6th year at Camden.
And we, of course, prior to the ball game, Marc had a chance to talk to both coaches and get some keys to this game. Here's Marc's keys to the game.
Well, they have to control the line of scrimmage, and because of the great defense of Delsea, big play defense, they have to make some turnovers and, of course, move the chains. They don't want to have to keep punting to that Delsea team.
We'll give you the kickoff, and then we'll show you what Delsea had to say about their keys to the football game. By the way, the kickoff going to Camden. Delsea kicks off to start this football game. Picked up back there by Darryl Troop, and here come the Panthers up across the 15. Now they reverse field, come the other way, still on his feet and all the way out to the 36-yard line. That is Shamari Moore, who is the outstanding running back, also getting some duty on special teams.
There's Sal Marquez Jr., who coaches from up top there, 77-30-1, one of the premier coaches in all of South Jersey. And this is Delsea's key. They have to stop Shamari Moore. Everyone has to against Camden. No mistakes on offense, especially penalties, the offsides, and the special teams. We see Camden already getting good field position on this first kickoff.
Yeah, that was a 32-yard return by Moore. And here we go, 1st and 10. Deshaun Fuchs was actually the return man on the kickoff, and Fuchs is out at quarterback, or is in at quarterback, obviously, as a backup to Nate Brown, who's still got a ankle injury, but he gets the start again tonight. We showed you there moments ago. Normally we show you passing statistics. Mark, we got the running statistic because he's a dangerous runner. Joined in the backfield by John Rowe, and of course we talked about Shamari Moore at the top of the broadcast. Ford and Jesse and Miller, the tight ends. In the up front, it's Tyrone Williams, Tariq Perry, Shariki Barfield, the outstanding guard, joined by McHarris and Johnson on the front line for the Panthers. Pickup of 7 on 1st down for Camden, so it's 2nd down and 3. They'll keep it on the ground, as you will expect both of these teams to do. A pickup of about 2 out to the 45. Here's a look at the defensive lineup for the Crusaders tonight. Matt Myers along with Mike Kelly. Greg Wynn, we talked to him about him, an outstanding two-way tackle. And then it's Weichman and Pfeiffer along with Walker as the linebackers. In the secondary, Josh Reimel along with Brandon Crenshaw, Mike Hartman, and Kevin Jackson in the backfield. And Pfeiffer, 24, will be seeing a lot making tackles tonight. 101 already this season. 3rd down and just about a full yard. They'll go back on the ground, and Moore gets through traffic, gets through the line of scrimmage, and has a 1st down as he approaches the 39, almost 40-yard line. It's a good thing Mike Weichman, 44, put a hit on him that time, because Moore would have been able to break that tackle. He had some real room there. Watch 44 come up, fill the gap there, and if he didn't, you saw that room there, Jack. Coach Marquez talked about Moore being such a shifty kind of runner, a guy that can break through a line like that and be gone. They'll have to protect against that this evening. Here's the other guy that can hurt you, and of course it's the quarterback who gets outside to the 48-yard line. Deshaun Fuchs showed you what he could do on the kickoff return. He shows you what he can do there from the quarterback position. Well, Mark Peace thought that this was the best backfield, or at least one of the best in South Jersey, when Fuchs was the blocking back for Shamari Moore, and I don't think I would disagree with that. They were a great tandem. His tremendous athletic ability allows him now to come in and play quarterback when Brown got hurt. Mentioned that Brown went down in that game against Willingboro a few weeks ago. He is at about 85 to 90%, so he's almost back to full strength, but not expected to play much tonight. Little confusion in the backfield this time, and now Fuchs is in trouble. He'll be sacked for a loss of about 4. And on the tackle is Walker. Also number 3, Brandon Crenshaw. Really, again, that was a busted play that time. And Crenshaw, watch 3, he holds his ground right there and makes the tackle. That's a great job. They mark the forward progress back to or backward progress, if you will, back to the 47-yard line. So it'll bring up a 3rd and 4. Opening possession of the ball game. Camden has taken the opening kickoff and is at midfield. An important 3rd down here from that full house backfield. They'll pitch it. And getting through traffic and near the 1st down marker is John Rowe, the senior, with his first carry of the night. We'll have to wait and see about the spot to see if Rowe has enough for a Camden 1st down. Officials have already signaled that. They won't even call for the chains, so the drive for the Panthers continues. 2 for 2 on their first 2 3rd down conversions. Did you see that great block that time by Dwayne Ford, number 44? Really cleared the way that time for Rowe. Ford, a 5'9", 195 junior, mainly used in that backfield as a blocking back. Again, Camden methodically keeping it on the ground. Moore with the carry there, and he picks up 3 or 4. Down by a host of Crusaders. Mark mentioned Moore came into the game with 1,100 yards, 1,111 yards. 15 touchdowns so far on the year. This is the 8th play of the drive coming up.
Again, we saw that was a great replay because, again, we saw Brandon Crenshaw, number 3, holding his ground and not letting Moore get outside, forcing him inside. That's a fine play.
Second, about 6. And here comes Fuchs right at the bottom of your screen. He takes a big lick as he gets to the 45-yard line. Fuchs with just a yard or 2.
Well, again, this is vintage Camden. I thought he didn't see anything inside and went outside, and they took that away from him. So, I mean, the Delsea defense is prided itself on being disciplined, and it's certainly going to have to be here tonight.
Nice play by Kevin Jackson defensively there for Delsea on the last play. This is 3rd down now as the drive continues. Almost 5 minutes taken off the clock, and Camden will be close to another first down as they get to the 41-yard line.
I think they're just short, but I'll tell you, I would go for it if they are short. It's very close.
Moore with the carry that time, and as you mentioned, Mark, just about a yard short, and on 4th and 1, it does appear that Marc Peace will have his offense try to convert here on 4th down. So a big early play in this game with 6.5 minutes left. Here's another look at the run by Moore.
And this is the aggressive type of play calling attitude that you really like to see. Again, he turned that up because he got, again, another fine block by Ford, 44.
So 4th and 1, and here comes a flag. They may have taken too much time. Officials will gather, although that came from the line judge, didn't it, Mark? Not from, usually the back judge is the one that keeps track of the time. There's a look at our officials tonight. Joe Petropola, Lester Perkins, Keith Creed, Buddy O'Callaghan, Eric Cartel, and Walt Robinson, an old friend of ours up here with us in the booth.
The veteran Walt Robinson, who is a Vineland graduate and is very happy this year because the Fighting Clan are 7-1 and in the Group 4 playoffs.
Officials still talking this one over. So let's see about the call.
Disregard the flag. My man was not in position, set position.
So there you have it. No penalty, and we'll try it again on 4th down and 1.
Ford at 195 pounds is a very tough runner that you have to watch in this situation.
Ford right behind the quarterback, but it looks like Fuchs will keep it, and he has plenty enough for the first down as he crosses the 40-yard line and gets inside to about the 37.
Jack, the other thing is look at that hole right there, and Fuchs showing his quickness. The thing is, you know Camden's really not going to pass a whole lot, but you can't bring everybody up to play the run because if you do, you know they can break a long one on you, so you have to watch it.
Not really a surprise there. 10 runs, no passes in this first drive. In fact, that's, as we mentioned, why we showed you Fuchs' running statistics, because we thought we'd see him do that a lot more than ever put the ball up. Here comes Moore right up the middle, and again, another healthy pickup on first down.
Saw Shakri Barfield, number 53 for Camden, trying to block Win. Barfield at 290, Win at 290. That was quite a collision. And Shakri, number 53, it's just a great surge up there.
You know, Mark, though, you mentioned it in the last play. There's some holes being opened up at the line of scrimmage. And interestingly enough, remember our keys to the game from the coaches from the Delsea side, it was control the line. Well, so far, Camden winning that battle. Moore tries to get outside this time and is unable to do that. Once again, number 85, Sharon Walker in there along with Crenshaw to make the stop.
I'll tell you, Brandon Crenshaw, 6'1", 178, number 3. We've seen how well he's played the run that time, and again, he's turning it inside and making them cut inside, doing a great job as Sal Marquez Jr. looks on.
We thought we would see a quick-paced ball game, and so far we have. It's been all on the ground. 6 carries now for Moore, 23 yards. And let's see if they call number 3 again here on 3rd and 5. He's the tailback. He's got it once again. He's got some room over the right side. Moore inside the 30, but there's a flag thrown on the play, and it was thrown at the line of scrimmage where you typically see a holding call. So let's wait and see about that. That may erase the first down for Camden.
Jack, the one thing is you did see that the holding. Moore, and I've seen him do this, he can throw the halfback option, so it's something that Camden or Delsea better watch against as well. They like to use him maybe once a game or so to do that.
Well, this is what Marc Peace wanted to stay away from. Penalties, and this one hurts.
Holding on the offense. Still third down.
So instead of a first down inside the 30-yard line, the ball now goes back all the way to the 44, where it'll be 3rd down and 16. Camden has held the ball for all of this first quarter so far. They had the opening kickoff and have controlled it since that time. 3rd and 16 after the penalty.
Jack, Nathaniel Brown in, so they're going to throw the ball here.
So much for the ankle at 85%. Brown comes in to throw here on 3rd and 16. Right off the bench and in trouble. Caught from behind the line of scrimmage. Russell Streeter, the outstanding defensive end, with the stop for Delsea. It'll be 4th and long.
Well, you know, obviously, first of all, it was 3rd and 16, so you know they're going to throw anyway. But he got clipped by one of his own players. Did you see there? And then Brown couldn't get away from Streeter, who at 2:05, very, very quick for Delsea.
It appears that Wayne Smalls will. Well, Wayne Smalls is the up man. Forward back to punt for Camden.
Carl Smith, actually the punter for the Panthers.
Oh, and he gets nailed. That'll be a penalty, no doubt about it. As he really took a lick back there, but this one will come back to the Panthers. Punter's still down, Mark. He took a tremendous hit.
Yeah, you saw in there getting a rush in there with Sharon Walker, number 85, 44, Mike Weichman, and they both came in on Carl Smith that time.
So they're attending to Smith on the field. We'll take a break. 3:16 left to go here in the first. 0-0. Camden owning this first quarter. Back at John Oberg Stadium, we've got 3:16 left to go here in the first quarter at Delsea High School. You see a 0-0 ball game, but the Crusaders have yet to get the ball offensively. Roughing the punter penalty is going to give the Panthers back the football, and as you can see, they are still attending to Carl Smith, who took a huge hit as he went back to punt the ball just moments ago. The penalty is going to give Camden the football inside the 30-yard line at the 29.
Well, there you saw right there, Walker 85, Sharon Walker go into him, and good to see that Smith is walking off on his own now.
You know, if you're going to hit the punter that hard, you got to make sure you get part of the ball. They did not, and I'm sure the guy who made the hit was trying to do that, but nonetheless, he missed the ball, got the punter, and Camden has the ball inside the 30 with a first down. So their first quarter ownership continues here. They've had the ball for the entire first quarter. On first down, they'll give it to Moore, and Moore gets to the outside and down to the 21-yard line. Shamari Moore with a pickup of about 9 on first down.
Jack, Bill Pfeiffer, number 24, the outstanding linebacker for Delsea, was tapping himself on the helmet that time because he felt he should have had more. Of course, Moore's broken his share of blocks. Pfeiffer had a pretty good shot at him, get him close to the line of scrimmage.
They officially give him 8 yards on the carry, so it'll be 2nd down and 2. There you see time remaining here in the first quarter. Right back to Moore's hands, and he goes up the middle this time, has enough for the first down as he gets inside the 20 to the 17-yard line. Met by Delsea's Bill Pfeiffer.
Well, if you're Camden, you could not ask for a better first drive to set the tone there. Look at Pfeiffer, 24, playing off that block and staying with it. That's a great replay coming at you from the end zone.
On first down, once again, Moore. This time inside the 15, down to the 12. Hey, boxing returns to Philadelphia tonight as Philadelphia's own Yvonne Robinson takes to the USBA Junior Welterweight champion Michael Stewart in a 12-round brawl. Also on the card is Anthony the Messenger Thompson. He'll look to extend his unbeaten streak to 14 wins. All the hard-hitting action comes your way tonight, 7 o'clock right here on CN8.
The Messenger, I like that.
The Messenger. Second down and about 5. More this time from the left side, and this time only about a yard.
They did not have a clean exchange that time, and I think Camden's fortunate of not fumbling the ball. Delsea's Matt Myers, number 58, was in on a tackle. Look at this. See, he ran into him, Jack, and we've seen plenty of fumbles with that. Camden fortunate to keep possession.
No smoking on the ground at Delsea
Greg
Regional High School.
Got in to make that stop. And the Panthers will call the game's first timeout, stopping the clock with 1:24 to go here in the first quarter. Marc, when was the last time that you saw a team not have a possession in a quarter? I mean, that could happen here in this first quarter.
19 plays so far that I've counted that Camden's had. Jack, I'll tell you how many times I've seen it. 0.
Yeah.
I've never seen teams go like this. By the way, as we said, it's cold out here and everything. Camden defensive coordinator Greg Peace, the brother of Marc, wearing shorts tonight.
That's a real man right there. And I'm happy to report, by the way, that you are not.
Yeah.
Shorts tonight.
A lot of people are happy at that.
Here's a look at how things have stacked up this year for Camden and Delsea, both in terms of scoring averages and defensive averages.
Look at Delsea, 101 points more than it is allowed. And of course, Camden has had a lot of close games as the scoring average bears out. And Delsea, 8.5 points a game, one of the premier defenses in South Jersey. Remember, 22 of them came in that Deptford game that we did, and that was a game that was 3-0 at halftime, and it was a lot more competitive than obviously the final score suggests. We saw some of the Deptford coaches here, they're scouting.
Camden on a third down. They are 2 out of 4 on third downs. And here goes Fuchs on a bootleg around the right side. He's open. Fuchs fumbles the ball, but he scores first. He got across the goal line, and Camden strikes first. .113 to go here in the first quarter, and it is 6-0 Camden on a very impressive opening drive. Of course, they were aided by the roughing the kicker call against the punter, but that was only after they had shot themselves in the foot with a holding call, so that kind of equalized things out, and Fuchs finishes it off here with the touchdown run. Extra point attempt is up, and it is good. Just inside the right crossbar for Carl Smith, who appears okay after taking that hard hit. And with 1:13 left to go here in the first quarter, it is Camden 7, Delsea nothing.
Watch now, 54, A.J. Jubb is the only guy that has any kind of shot at him, and he can't get him there. And then Fuchs showing his fine speed, taking it outside, and it's that other dimension that he does add. Now here's another look at it from another angle. He gets in the end zone, and he was, by the way, drilled right there by Kevin Jackson, number 4. But Fuchs had crossed the line.
That ball went out of play, so even had it not been a touchdown, it would have still been Camden's possession, but very fortunate for Fuchs that hit happened after he had already scored the TD.
Well, that's a big score for Camden because, again, when Brown went out, Jack, the offense, I think, lost something, as you see. 17 plays, 64 yards.
10 minutes and 36 seconds. Of course, we had a potential change of possession in there that never occurred because of the penalty.
But again, Camden has had a lot of these close games when Brown isn't in. The defense has really been winning games. They beat Timber Creek 14-7. You were at the game last week when they beat Pemberton in 2 overtimes, 12-6. So the defense has really stepped it up, and they've played a much more conservative offense and really kept it on the ground.
I have to tell you, Marc, that was a more impressive drive out of Camden right here than I saw all of last week. Pretty good return by the Crusaders out to the 35-yard line, so they'll start in pretty good field position. And George Dawson, the sophomore, will lead his Crusaders on the field offensively for the first time in this ball game with 1:08 to go here in the first quarter.
I'll tell you, Dawson was the guy. They've had some injuries, and they're the numbers for him. 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Also, like Fuchs, very dangerous running to the outside, so you have to watch Dawson. They have a more diversified attack. They could hurt you with a number of backs, although Reimel's obviously the key guy back there for Delsea.
Little shift in the backfield, and on first down, they'll have a first down as they give the ball to Bill Pfeiffer. And Pfeiffer a gain of a little over 10 on the first carry of the day. We have an injured Camden player, and while they attend to him, we'll take a look at the lineup. James Motana and Marc mentioned Josh Reimel, the featured back here, along with Bill Pfeiffer. Mike Hartman, the wide receiver. Dave Houlihan will rotate with Dave LaMoche, last year's quarterback, at tight end. Up front, it's Steve Simpkins, Al Jubb, Mike Gandy, Matt Myers, and Greg Wynn.
For Camden, that's Dwayne Ford, number 44, who's down on the ground, and he just did some great work on that offense blocking. There's your defense, Jack.
Up front, it's Robinson along with Karstafen. Barfield, the outstanding defensive end who's on his way to Clemson, along with Tyrone Williams. At linebacker, it's Perry and Leary, along with Dwayne Ford. And in the backfield for the Panthers, Shamari Moore getting double team. Also on defense at cornerback, along with Wayne Smalls, John Rowe, and the quarterback, Deshaun Fuchs, is also the safety.
Ford walking off again, which is a good sign. By the way, Karstafen, the lineman there, Jack, he's a distant cousin of Vic Karstafen, one of the all-time greats to play for Camden basketball. 2-time Player of the Year in South Jersey. Went on to first Cincinnati, then went to Temple.
First down and 10. 2 guys in the slot. They give it to Pfeiffer again. He has to roll off a couple of blockers and pushes his way forward for about 3 or 4.
Well, that was great penetration by number 6, Teron Murray, that time, getting that first hit. Actually, you'll see 6 right there, just about runs almost through it, but slowed him up enough. And then his teammates came on, and Rowe making the tackle there.
Picked up 4 on the play, second down and 6. Pfeiffer Ryan will shift, and they'll go right back to Pfeiffer. No, Dawson keeps it on the option play after the fake, and he has a first down as he gets inside Camden territory to the 40-yard line.
Jack, that's a great play fake that time.
Faked me out.
Again, this is what Dawson brings you. He can, again, get around the corner. And look at the blocking, the downfield blocking. Did you see that by Reimel that time? 21, bringing his man down there and staying with that block.
Well, you mentioned it, Mark. This Delsea team, very dangerous offensively because they can do that, and they also can throw if they have to. 1 quarter in the books here in the South Jersey Group 3 opening round game between Camden and Delsea. The Panthers up 7-0. Second quarter action from John Oberg Stadium. Jack Hibbard along with Marc Narducci. It is 7-0 Camden. But Delsea now threatening here with the first drive in Camden territory. From the slot, this is Reimel with his first carry, and he gets thrown for a loss all the way back to the 45-yard line. That'll be a loss of 6 on the play.
Brought down by Karstafen.
Big 78 Leroy Karstafen in there to make the stop for Camden.
Yeah, but Tavon Williams, 51, really makes the play. Look at that, right there. Stops him there. And then Karstafen and everybody else comes in. Great play by Teron Williams.
Second down, Reimel in motion. They go right up the middle with Pfeiffer. He's still on his feet, runs off a couple of guys and drops the football. Who's got it? I think Delsea recovers, and they recover for enough for a first down. How about that? Boy, Pfeiffer took a big hit, coughed up the football, but then the Crusaders able to jump back on it inside the 30-yard line.
You know, it's interesting. Pfeiffer already, with 3 carries here today, only came into the game with 65 on the season and really used more as a blocker. But I guess with teams, and there he is, he fumbles the ball, and Delsea able to recover it. But again, teams key so much on Rimo, and we have a flag here, Jack.
That's right. This one is coming back anyway. Looks like a hold near the line of scrimmage. Well, actually, they're marking it near the original line of scrimmage and just a 5-yard penalty. Here's the call.
Illegal shift, 2 men moving on the offense, still 2nd down.
Yeah. If it's an illegal shift, they've got to start from the line of scrimmage. He started from the original line of scrimmage. Now they'll mark it back to the 49-yard line. And it looks like 2nd and 21 upcoming now for Delsea, who had a first down inside the 30-yard line.
And Jack, Rimo is actually their leading receiver with 7 receptions. So this is a team like Camden that really likes to keep it on the ground.
They go up the middle again. Pfeiffer's done the load of the carrying, and here's why. It's been very successful so far. Karsteffen gets him again, but not before he gets to the 35-yard line. That's a pickup of nearly 15 by Pfeiffer that time.
Watch number 2 right there, who was in the slot, Karan Kelly. Turn his man around there. That's a tremendous block. And then Pfeiffer able to go down. And how about that, Jack? Karsteffen, 6'3" at 210, running him down.
So 3rd and 6 after another great run by Pfeiffer, who's been the featured back so far here tonight. 3 carries, 29 yards. Pfeiffer this time in the slot and then heads upfield as a receiver. Dawson will keep it. I think Pfeiffer may have headed upfield just a shade early, and that may be the cause for the penalty. Flags are thrown. That's what it is. He was in the slot, Mark, and then went in motion, and it looked like he actually crossed the line of scrimmage, or at least certainly headed forward before the ball was snapped. They're going to talk about the penalty. This would give them a 3rd and 11 as opposed to a 4th down and 6, but this 4-down territory for Delsea for sure.
Illegal motion on the offense, still 3rd down.
So it is 3rd and 11 after the penalty.
That play, though, illustrated how dangerous Dawson is, because I thought had he handed it off that Delsea would have had a loss that play. And it's interesting because Dawson's been running at the short side of the field. There's a whole lot of room to run on the right. Let's see how they attack this.
Rimo lines up, now shifts to the right side. And they'll give it to Josh Rimo. He's hit in the backfield and stopped immediately. Hit first on the play again by Leroy Karsteffen, who's had a terrific first half of play.
Watch 78, as you say, get through right there and almost get him by the throat that time with the initial hit. And they have not been able to block Karsteffen so far.
6'3", 210, as you mentioned. The junior has been a menace defensively so far for Camden. Dave Lamish will punt it away, and it's a good high kick. He fielded at the 12-yard line. Problems on the punt. The ball still loose, and Delsea's got it back. Critical mistake with the ball being fielded at the 12-yard line. You know, a lot of times, Mark, in that position, you just either kind of fair catch it or let it go.
There's Steve Simpkins, a guy that got the fumble recovery that time. And you're right, Jack. Anything, inside the 15-yard line, a lot of times you do let go. This is a major break for Delsea.
They'll take over on the Camden 6. Here's another look at it. And, Chucky Wall just never could come up with the football. And now, problems on offense for Delsea. They have to burn a timeout. So the clock will stop with 8:49 left to go here till halftime. Camden up 7-0, but Delsea with their first serious threat of this ball game. Well, we've got some great action tonight, and the gridiron continues to heat up tomorrow with another great game on Comcast Varsity Sports Zone. It's an exciting time of the year, this postseason, where coaches, players, and fans will all get pumped up. It won't get any better than this, so if you're looking for some of the region's best hard-hitting high school football action, keep it tuned right here to CN8 and get in the zone. There's a look at our games tomorrow, depending on what region you're in. It'll be Roman Catholic versus Cardinal O'Hara or Morris Central in the other game.
Saw the former Cardinal O'Hara back, Kevin Jones. 4 touchdowns for Virginia Tech the other day against Pittsburgh. There's a Philadelphia Inquirer top 10, Jack. Camden Catholic idle in parochial 3. Mainland with, I think, a tougher than expected game against Eastern. Deptford, the top seed in Group 3. West Deptford, the top seed in Group 2. Shawnee and then Washington Township, and they play each other tonight. They're the Crusaders of Delsea, number 7. Holy Cross, which has won 6 in a row. Vineland and St. Joseph making its first appearance.
First and goal for Delsea after problems on the punt by Camden. And on first down, they get it near the goal line. Pfeiffer's had a big first half. Comes up about a yard shy of a touchdown there.
Yeah, he was hit too by James Pollard, and James did not start this game, number 6. But I think Pollard is, one of the top young defensive players on this Camden team. 6'4", 215.
Hey, girl. Doing a good job.
Kelly and Pfeiffer in the backfield. They'll give it to Pfeiffer, and he's got the touchdown. From a yard out, Pfeiffer gets Delsea right back into this football game. Well, he's had a terrific first half, and he caps it off here with a touchdown. The extra point could bring Delsea into a deadlock with plenty of time left here in the second quarter.
And Jack, we are still looking for our first pass of the game.
We could be waiting for that for a while. Lamish, the line drive kick is no good, and so it remains Camden in front. 8:07 left to go. It's 7-6 Camden after the mixed extra point by Lamish. We'll be back with more action here in the second half as you take another look at the touchdown by Pfeiffer. It's 7-6 Camden. Delsea within a point here in the first half. 8:07 left to go in the first half. 7-6 Camden. The Crusaders set to kick it away.
Jack, with all these runs, the people that have to be happiest are reporters on deadline tonight.
Oh, yeah. You've lived up against a few of those deadlines in your day. Sweating it out, being yelled at by your editor and everything else. Of course, that never happens where you work, I'm sure. Kickoff is short, and problems on the kickoff. That was nearly fumbled, but Camden does hang on and will get it out to the 36-yard line.
Dwayne Ford that time doing a little bit of the juggling and
giving Marc Peace a heart attack is what he's doing. They had problems on the punts moments ago. There's a look at the South Jersey Group 3 field. We mentioned Delsea with the second seed, Camden with the 7th seed. The winner of tonight's game will face the winner of Pemberton-Hamilton, that game being played tomorrow.
Of course, Deptford's everyone's favorite, well, except for mine. I had picked Toms River South in an article I wrote in Thursday's Inquirer. But this group, I think, is up for grabs. There are a number of teams that could win this thing, including either of these two.
Moore gets it on first down. Well, you look at that field, Mark, and you see between 3 and 7, I mean, there were just a matter of a point or two separating them. So, the middle of this pack, a lot of parity in the middle of this pack. We'll have to see how the top seeds perform.
I don't think there's any question that Toms River South has played the toughest schedule out of any of these teams, and sometimes that helps you a little bit. And again, TR South against Lacey, a team that had beaten earlier this year. Tough to beat a team twice, but I think at least the Indians had the toughest schedule coming in.
Well, folks have been watching CN8 all year know that you and I were at the Toms River South, Toms River North game, and I know why you picked them. They were very impressive that night, so we'll have to see whether that dark horse ends up coming out of this pack.
And they didn't even win, and we were impressed by them.
Exactly. Well, the Delsea defense standing up a little bit on this drive as they stop Moore here.
Well, that was a good illustration there. You saw number 58, Matt Myers. Again, they are trying to force Shamari Moore inside. They're not letting him turn the corner with that great speed. Of course, a mentor for Shamari Moore is DeJuan Wagner, the Cleveland Cavaliers' second-year guard who's currently injured. They talk by phone 3 to 4 times a week. They're very, very friendly, and DeJuan's been to a couple of the Camden games this year.
The pitch, this time going around the left side, some running room, but not enough for a first down as they get the ball across the 40 to about the 42, but they needed to get out to the 47 for a first. Looked like John Rowe on the carry that time. Rowe with just a couple of carries here in the first half.
Well, you notice Delsea doing a good job of stringing things out, and there was Crenshaw again on the tackle for a corner. He really comes up well on the run.
So after nearly 20 plays on their first drive, 1, 2, 3 and out here on their second possession, and they'll punt it away with 6 minutes left. Pretty good punt as it's fielded at the 20-yard line. Racing to the sidelines is Hartman, and he takes a hit right at about the 40-yard line. Pretty good return by Hartman. Good punt, but not very good coverage downfield as Hartman's able to return it almost 20 yards.
Jack Sharon Walker, number 85, who was in on the roughing the punter penalty before, got another great rush, and he's coming close to getting one. We'll have to watch for Walker. I think he backed off a little bit at the end because maybe wary of that initial penalty.
So Delsea down by a single point at 7-6, gets possession at their own 40-yard line. Reimel from the slot has it. He'll try to get outside. Now is being forced inside and will be actually tackled for a loss. Shamari Moore came up to make the disturbance there in the backfield that time.
He really did, Jack. And again, we always think of Shamari Moore as an offensive player. See how they kept him going wide, and look at Moore coming up, just making that shoestring catch. But he's already had an interception return for a touchdown. I mean, he's a prospect on either side of the ball, I think.
How about this for a little bit of a surprise? 2 carries, -7 yards for Josh Reimel so far in this one. Came into the game with over 800 yards rushing. 2nd down and 12. Reimel from the slot took the fake this time, and there's a penalty flag.
I wonder if it's a motion again on Delsea. Let's see.
Dead ball, delay. On the offense, still second.
Well, certainly South Marquez can't be too happy about the way that this offense so far tonight has executed. A couple of penalties. There are some problems, maybe getting the play in, but at any rate, they took too much time, and so the 5-yard penalty, and it'll be 2nd down again.
I think either team has to at least show that it can maybe get back and throw the ball just to keep these defenses honest. I mean, Camden obviously playing the run every down.
Reimel from the slot tries to get outside, does get a block this time, and gets about 6 before he takes a lick at the 39-yard line.
I'll tell you what, James Moten, number 5, I thought did a tremendous job staying with his block that time. Fuchs is just, again, pound for pound, one of those tougher players in South Jersey that you're going to see.
A lot of speed in this defensive secondary for Camden, and they showed it here to catch up with
C5,
Reimel.
he's at the end of your screen. You don't even see him in there because he took his man out, James Moten, that time. Nice job.
3rd and 11 for the Crusaders. See if Dawson comes up with his first pass of the night. Nope, they're going to keep it on the ground. And to the 45 goes James Moton. But that'll be well shy of a first down, and the Crusaders will send the punt team out.
I'll tell you, I'm very impressed with Camden's discipline on defense. A lot of shifting around by Delsea, a lot of different formations they're showing, and Camden really sticking to its lanes and doing a nice job in this early going.
Well, I'll tell you, Mark, I mentioned that having seen the game, you see maybe Fuchs shaken up a little bit as he has the helmet off and walking to the sidelines, but the good news is he was walking. You know, I mentioned the offense of Camden did not execute well in that double overtime game against Pemberton a week ago, but I tell you what, the defense looked great, and that's been the hallmark of this team. If they've had a strength, it's been defensively this year. Punt fielded back at the 21, and nothing that time for John Rowe. Interestingly enough, Rowe back to receive the punt this time and not the freshman Chucky Wall. Rowe does field it cleanly and returns it only about a yard to the 24. So Camden takes over. 3:49 left to go here in the first half. They lead it 7-6. Here's how the Panthers got here, 5-3. And again, the big shock, Mark, was in week 1.
Yeah, beating Holy Cross, and Holy Cross hasn't lost, by the way, since that game. So, and in the Camden Catholic game, Jack, they were winning that game 14-13, and Catholic's Rick Roccabaldo had to kick a 42-yard field goal to beat them. So there are the rest of the games. Triton they beat convincingly. You talked about Pemberton last week in double overtime.
1st and 10 for Camden from their own 24-yard line.
And Brown is in the game at quarterback, Jack, so we'll look for that. We saw Fuchs going off the field.
Brought down by a host of Red Raiders.
Nathaniel Brown, of course, was the starting quarterback for this team. We mentioned he was hurt just a couple of weeks ago, and Fuchs has been his replacement, but it looks like he's called into action here tonight. There's
Look
Moore's
at Shamari Moore, yep, trying to make the cut. And obviously Delsea King on him. I saw the game. That was against Willingboro when he got hurt, and a lot of people thought it was on a sack, and a lot of people thought he had broken that ankle. So the fact that he's back just a couple weeks later shows his toughness.
Single back here, Mark. 3 wide receivers to the top of your screen, and we'll see our first pass of the night, and it's a bullet, and it's caught for a first down and more across the 40-yard line and all the way to midfield. And that's picked up by Wayne Smalls, who's been a favorite receiver when they've thrown the ball, and he made a terrific catch there on a ball that was on a string from Nathaniel Brown. He showed his arm on that one.
Of course, Wayne Smalls was Shamari Moore's starting backcourt mate in the Camden backcourt that won the South Jersey Group 3 title last year, and Brown getting plenty of protection. And look at Walls having to go up for that ball, and he's so dangerous after the catch.
I'll tell you what, if Camden can do that tonight, Delsea will really have their hands full. 1st and 10. Again, they go with the single back, and they'll pitch it to Moore this time. Moore has room across midfield, and Moore. Here goes Shamari Moore to the 30, inside the 30, and marked out of bounds at about the 27-yard line. So Moore with his largest output on the ground so far tonight, and Camden threatening again in Delsea territory.
Of course, Moore's had so many big games, 5 touchdowns in that win over Holy Cross. Teron Williams, number 51, one of the guys with the big block there.
28-yard pickup by Moore. And Mark, I like the call. I mean, the formation, you remember just moments ago, they threw out of that same formation. The difference was the last time they had the fullback as the only back. This time they had Shamari Moore back there. There's a little difference, as he just showed.
And by the way, Brown's mobility looks pretty good for a guy that they say still isn't 100%.
Shamari Moore again on the carry. Moore a healthy pickup on first down near the 21-yard line.
Jack, number 51, Teron Williams, is just beating people up there, blocking for Camden, and really helping make the way for Moore. This whole offensive line has been very strong, but Williams, the last couple of plays, has just been taking people out.
Pickup of 6 for Shamari Moore. He now has 72 yards here in the first half. Moore again is the lone back. They go trips right with 3 receivers to the bottom of your screen. In fact, they go with an empty backfield, 5 wide receivers, and it looked like either they had a problem on the snap or maybe just perhaps Brown stumbled.
Actually, Jack, it was Fuchs back in there taking the snap.
You're right.
And they had a passing formation with Fuchs in there, which we haven't seen very much. Interesting.
Let's see if we can get a look at if there were problems on the snap. Looked like Fuchs was leaving early, and it was more than problems, a fumble as you saw on that play. So third down after the recovered fumble. Fuchs stays in at quarterback. They give it to Moore. And Moore will be very close to a first down as he gets inside the 20-yard line.
Brandon Crenshaw, again, number 3 for Delsea, forcing that inside, making that initial hit, making Moore make the cut.
And now the officials will stop the clock. Camden is going to call a timeout. They're about a yard short, so a very crucial fourth down upcoming. They stop the clock with 1:44 left to go here till halftime. We looked at Camden's schedule moments ago. Here's a look at how the Crusaders got to this point. And as we mentioned at the top of our program, Mark, we happen to see their only loss of the year against powerful Deptford in just week 2 of the season when they lost 22-0. That's been it.
And I think the big win, Jack, was that Absegami win, because that's a team that made the Group 4 playoffs in South Jersey. Delsea got a huge number of power rating points there. And that win, after that win, the Crusaders knew that they would be in the postseason.
Well, familiar territory for Delsea, who's been here 4 out of the last 5 years. They won it in 2000 with in a final against Ocean City, and of course lost in last year's title game to Mainland 21-7.
Of course, such rich history here at Delsea with John Oberg, the old-time leading coach in South Jersey history with 230 wins, as we get a breakdown, Jack, of the seniors, juniors, sophomores, and freshmen on the team. And look at the freshmen Camden has, huh?
Yeah, on the roster. Delsea, though, you can see the bulk of their team juniors. So still a lot of good football to come here at Delsea. 4th and 1. Moore bounces it outside, and he's got the first down. Boy, he didn't have anything up the middle, and so he decided to bounce it outside, and it looked for just a split second that maybe Delsea had a shot of stopping that, but the good speed by Moore picks up the first down.
Well, A.J. Jubb, 54 for Delsea, really collapsed things there, and there was no room. And again, he has such great vision. He saw that right away, and he just bounced it. There it is in another angle coming at you.
Boy, good initial penetration that time, but unable to stop Moore before he picked up the first down. Moore got out of bounds, so the clock is stopped with 1:34 left to go here till halftime. Fuchs still in at quarterback. They go with that single back formation, and they will pitch it to Moore. Moore's in trouble this time, though. He'll try to use his speed to get out of it. If he can, he gets to the sideline, but it'll be a big loss on the play and a penalty flag thrown on to boot. So we'll have to wait and see.
There was a clip there coming from the back. Let's see. Yep.
It is going to be a hold, so that will further complicate things. Now, Delsea will have to think about the difference between this loss and, of course, where the hold occurred. It looks like the hold occurred well in back of the line of scrimmage, so it's from the spot of the foul, which would mean probably that you'd see the Crusaders take it.
You take this. Absolutely, you take it at this point.
They're discussing it with Greg Wynn, and it looks like he's indicated that they are going to decline. Here's the call. Referee saying, are you sure?
Illegal block in the back. And the offensive penalties decline. 2nd down.
So instead of taking the yards, which would have been probably 10 yards behind where this ball is, they'll take the loss on the play.
Now let's see if we can see it here, right? I don't know. I don't think it was that. That was Gandy, number 66, who had pretty good penetration in there.
Looks like about 2nd down and 17 or 18 to go for the first. It would have been closer to 1st and about 26. But Delsea has declined the penalty. They'll take the down.
And again, Brown back in there.
He'll throw it across the middle and in and out of the hands that time of the intended receiver. They were looking for Moore downfield, who lined up as a receiver. And it falls incomplete. It'll be 3rd down.
Well, Moore is a great receiver coming out of the backfield. Again, I saw him this year get a 31-yard touchdown pass against Willingboro, which, by the way, made the playoffs as well. Camden's played a pretty tough schedule. You know, when you think about it, Willingboro's a playoff team, Pemberton's a playoff team, Holy Cross is a playoff team, Camden Catholic a playoff team.
So 3rd and long, 3 wide receivers to the left side this time, and Brown will look to pass. He's got some time now, flushed out of the pocket, and will take off, still looking downfield, and finally gets rid of the football. He's got an open receiver in the end zone. It's caught, but out of play. Wide open in the end zone and actually caught in the back, but too far and out of play.
That was Moore that time back there, and he was wide open that time.
Well, Brown has been a little bit strong on his throws, and that may be the inactivity.
Well, also, he was being chased this time. Again, 66 Gandy, one of the people just forcing him out of the pocket there. Nice job by Gandy. You saw him throw the blocker away, and he's the guy chasing him. And that's on the run. That is a very tough throw. But you see, there was about 10 yards between Moore and any of the Delsea defenders.
And
he was wide open.
In high school, Mark, you only need 1 foot in, and that missed by not more than about 2 feet. It was close. So a timeout is called with 1:06 to go, as Camden will be contemplating a 4th and very long to see if they can keep this drive going. The Panthers have a 1-point lead, 7-6. 1:06 remaining here in the first half.
I think one thing is you better account for Shamari Moore if he goes out of the backfield.
Well, clearly Brown will stay in on this 4th down and give the Panthers an opportunity to throw the ball here. Same formation. Camden is perfect on 4th down conversion so far tonight, 2 out of 2. This one's a little longer, though. Brown with all kinds of time. Now he throws, and he's got a receiver. It's a 1st down inside the 5-yard line. Wow, terrific job by the quarterback that time, Brown, to just stay in there, and Teron Murray, the junior, found an opening, and Brown found him downfield inside the 5. Look at this. He had all day, Mark.
Well, the key has been he's been getting great pass protection and just threw off that back foot. And look at Murray come back to the ball. That's a nice job, because that ball was not actually thrown to him. He had to come back. In fact, as you see in that replay, Kevin Jackson, 4 at first, had a better shot at it.
Full house backfield. They give it to Moore. Does he get in? The officials have not signaled it yet. Camden thinks they have a touchdown. Still no signal. I think they're waiting to see where he went down, and I think he's short. He is. Now keep in mind, Mark, Camden has no timeouts, and the clock is running. You see the official time at the top of your screen, only 14 seconds left. Same formation. They try a quarterback sneak. And now they signal touchdown. How about that? Camden scores with only 5 seconds left. Nathaniel Brown went to the line of scrimmage and just tried to do it himself, and evidently he did. Looked like a delayed call, but he got the 6 points, and Camden adds to their lead.
Jack, had he not scored, that would have been it for the half. That's why I'm calling for the spike. He's saying, heck with the spike. I want the touchdown.
Boy, a little reminiscent of 2 weeks ago when we were at Eastern, and the clock management at the end of that game. Extra point attempt is up, and it's good. So with 5 seconds remaining here in the first half, little late second drama here in this first half as Camden adds to their lead. They're up now 14-6. Look at this.
And again, you saw there, that was a bad exchange. He almost bobbled that.
And it was hard to see, Mark, but they got an initial hit on him behind the line of scrimmage. But Brown, with his strength, fought off of that, went to his left, found an opening, and evidently got the ball across the plane. And it's 14-6. Boxing returns to Philadelphia tonight, Mark, as Philadelphia's own Yvonne Robinson takes on USBA Junior Welter champion Michael Stewart in a 12-round brawl. And I know the one that you're waiting for is the other guy on the card, Anthony the Messenger Thompson. He'll look to extend his unbeaten streak to 14 wins. All the hard-hitting action comes your way tonight right here at 7 o'clock on CN8.
Could you imagine stepping in with those guys? I mean, for 1 minute, let alone for an entire fight.
Well, now, come on, partner. Speak for yourself. I mean,
I will.
No, I can't imagine. I'm sure, though, being a local situation, I mean, right here in Philadelphia, we could probably arrange for some sparring if you want to get in on some of that action next week. Let's see. We'll have to come up with a creative name, though.
Marc the Terminator Narducci.
Yeah, something like that. No, something believable. Short kickoff, and that'll do it for the first half of play as Camden put it on the ground to try to get the clock to expire. That's exactly what happened. These Camden Panthers, who haven't been here since 1988, have a lead in their first round of the South Jersey Group 3 playoff, 14-6 at halftime. We'll be back with halftime stats and highlights right after this. Halftime at John Oberg Stadium. I'm Jack Hibbard along with Marc Narducci. The Camden Panthers with a late first half touchdown to add to their lead, leading it here 14-6 at halftime. Let's take a look at our Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey halftime highlights. They start in the first quarter, Marc, with a very critical play here.
Yes, Jack, and we had called it a roughing the punter play, but Walker 85 got a piece of it. The flag's there, but it was for unsportsmanlike conduct.
That set up the first touchdown,
which is Deshaun Fuchs, and that going around the corner, that was only his second touchdown of the season. He's been used to blocking for more. That was from 6 yards out, and there's Pfeiffer after Delsea got a fumbled punt going in from a yard out for the Crusaders, and then Brown coming in off the bench with 5 seconds left from 1 yard out on the sneak. Looked like he was initially stopped. And look at the stats, Jack, at the first half, and look at that time of possession by Camden.
Well, remember, the Panthers had the ball for nearly the entire first quarter. I asked you if you had ever seen a team hold it for the entire first quarter. You said no, and then it didn't happen. But they held it for almost 11 of the 12 minutes, and 16:47 here in the first. And who would have thought, Marc, that we'd see passing yards for Camden, none for Delsea, who has frankly struggled here offensively so far tonight?
Absolutely. Camden been very quick, tough to block. And the other thing is turnovers. Without that one turnover, it would be a shutout for Camden because that fumbled punt at the 6 yard line, and that set up Pfeiffer's touchdown. So Camden, an excellent defensive job here in this first half.
Well, the Panthers lead it by a score of 14-6. Those are our Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey halftime statistics and highlights. We will be back with second half action in just a moment. Second half football action here in the opening round game of the South Jersey Group 3 playoffs. Camden, the 7th seed, on top here as we get set to start the second half by a score of 14-6. I'm Jack Hibbard along with Marc Narducci. It has been a quick-paced game as we thought that it would, with both teams primarily running just 4 passing attempts, and they've been from Camden. Delsea has not put the ball in the air once so far tonight. Opening kickoff will go out of bounds, and that'll draw penalty flags.
Yeah, if you're Delsea, I think you'll take the ball in the 35 instead of making them re-kick. Let's see how they do it.
The officials will talk it over and see what they want to do. Here's the call coming up.
Delsea's going to make them kick again.
Illegal procedure on the kicking team. Ball kicked out of bounds. 5 yards, re-kick.
Well, so far, Marc, both of our guesses on what Delsea will do on penalties have been dead wrong. Remember, right at the end of the first half, we thought that they would accept a holding call rather than take the downs. Probably wouldn't have mattered anyway, since Camden ended up getting a first down. But remember, they did that on 4th down, and it may have made a difference had they had an extra 10 yards to go. But at any rate, hindsight's 20/20. Delsea will accept this penalty and make Camden kick it from the 35-yard line.
We talked about one of the keys early on is Delsea has to do a good job on special teams, and obviously the Crusaders have a lot of confidence in their kick returning.
Well, they've had a couple of good returns tonight, so we'll see what can happen here with Mike Hartman getting the return again, coming right up the middle. He's got a little daylight, drops the football, and he falls back on top of it. Boy, wouldn't that have been something? Decline the penalty and then fumble the re-kick. But Hartman does come back up with it, and Delsea will take over. Interestingly enough, Mark, at the 34-yard line. So had they taken the penalty, they would have had 1 extra yard. They'll take it on the 34.
Delsea begins the second half, first and 10 from the 34-yard line.
Well, one thing is, I think they have to establish Josh Reimel in this half. Just never really got off in that first half.
Yeah, 4 carries, -3 yards for Reimel in the first half, and he's their premier back.
We have a flag.
Flags on first down. This has not been a crisply played game so far by the Delsea offense.
Infraction on the white, 5 yards, first down.
This one, however, goes against Camden, as you just heard, so it'll be 1st and 5 for the Crusaders. One of those odd downs, Mark, and you wonder, having not thrown the ball, I don't think you'll see it out of what is typically a conservative offense, but I'd almost take a shot here on first down the field. They don't. They keep it on the ground. Piper had a good first half. Will pick up about a yard.
I'll tell you what, number 44 for Camden, Dwayne Ford, has just had an outstanding first half, and he really makes the hit here on Piper. You think he has a little bit of running room? No way with 44 coming in there, and I'm just really impressed with the ball hawking ability of Camden here tonight.
2 for Piper on that carry, and now has 37 yards on 6 carries. They'll try it this time from the slot to James Moton, and he is pushed back as he gets right to the line of scrimmage. That's about it.
Again, there you see Leroy Kostarfin, number 78, and you talk about great first half. They just were not able to block the 6'3", 210-pound junior, and he comes in and makes a big play. It's interesting because Camden, Jack, is a big team with quickness, and that's tough to trap against.
Oh, yeah.
And Delsea likes to do that.
So 3rd down now, and about 3. Split the backs, and we've got motion as it looks like Piper was headed upfield before the snap. In fact, probably at least 2 or 3 guys moved on that play. But it looked like Piper in the slot was the first one to go.
Start on the offense, still 3rd down.
So now instead of a 3rd and 3, it's 3rd down and 8 as the Crusaders getting a little bit of trouble here with the penalty. And you see Dawson saying, what in the world's going on here?
I think you have to roll Dawson out on this play. Whether, give him that pass run option. I think you have to keep the ball in Dawson's hands. Let's see. Camden's showing blitz, by the way.
Piper was split out as receiver. Now he comes into the slot, and Dawson does roll out, but he's hit and loses the football back at the 30-yard line. I think that the Crusaders have recovered, but it'll be 4th down on the big loss.
Shamari Moore coming in that time against Dawson, and Dawson again can get away from most people. He has a pretty good speed when he's turning the corner. Not Shamari Moore, though.
A.J. Jubb saved it from being a much worse situation as you saw him come up with the fumble recovery.
Sal Marquez Jr., the head coach at Delsea, who stays up top during the games.
Not a very good kick by Lamache this time. It's going to go out of play at the 46-yard line. That is only a 26-yard punt.
That young man, Dave Lamish, was the quarterback here last year, and I think he'll be one of the better pitchers in South Jersey coming back. Would like to play baseball in college. Coach Joe Smith, an assistant football coach, too, at Delsea. I think this is a very, very key. I really feel that's a very key series right now defensively for Delsea to stop them. I mean, Camden came out, remember, held the ball for 20 plays. They were aided by that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on the punt, but still, I think that if Delsea wants to make a statement here, because Camden got so much momentum from that first drive in the first half.
They start in good field position here. Rowe has it on first down and makes something out of nothing. He was actually caught in the backfield that time. Good pursuit. by a host of Delsea players.
Well,
Pickup of only one.
Brandon Crenshaw, and we talked about him a lot in the first half, number 3, the corner, coming up on the run, and he's done a fine job. And, again, he was one of the guys stringing it out. Go to row, trying to get outside. They're trying to pull there. Ford in front, which is always good. But there you saw Crenshaw getting the first hit on there, and then the rest of his teammates coming back.
Second down, 9. Look at this. Brown in the backfield this time as a running back. The ankle must be okay, huh?
I was going to say, Jack, the way they were telling us that Brown, could come in and throw some passes and everything, but here...
I'll check that. That was not Brown. I thought that was number 4, Brown.
I did too.
And it is instead James Pollard, who was originally slated to start and now has seen his first carry in reserve. So,
Jack, in all fairness, these are not the easiest numbers with the italic.
In fact, much easier on the monitor than they are to pick up from across the field. There's no doubt about it. Fuchs, the quarterback, thrown for a loss. Actually not thrown, dead stopped for a loss.
The Pfeiffer right there among the people.
Big Gray Wind plugging things up too, Mark.
Absolutely. Look at Pfeiffer, how far he has to run to come over there on the backside, and he got a hit, but you're right, Win in there. And this was, as I said before the series started, a very important defensive series for Delsea because Camden got so much momentum on that first drive in the first half. To hold them here.
Carl Smith, who's had some pressure, we saw that in our highlights as he took that unsportsmanlike hit, takes a low snap here, gets the ball away, pretty good kick. It'll be picked up at the 15-yard line and up across to the 29. Goes Hartman, and that's where the Crusaders will start it. Hey, tune in tomorrow at 2:30 for CN8's coverage of the South Atlantic Regional Figure Skating Championships. Join CN8's Lou Tilley and U.S. Figure Skating Hall of Famer JoJo Starbuck. See the future stars of the American figure skating right here on CN8.
Jack, Ben Moore made the tackle that time, and he blocked Walker, who has been getting great penetration on the punt, went all the way down and made the tackle for Camden. Great play.
From the 30 on first down. This is Pfeiffer again, who's had the bulk of the carries down to the 39-yard line. Mark, we weren't tipped off to this, but you have to wonder if something might be bothering Josh Reimel. It doesn't appear to be, but Pfeiffer's gotten the load of the carries tonight. Reimel with only 4 carries offensively so far.
I think Camden almost came in, and knowing that Reimel was the leading rusher for this team with 891 yards, 12 touchdowns, I think they're king on Reimel.
Here's Pfeiffer again, who is going to start getting some attention if he keeps carrying. Tariq Perry hanging on for dear life that time, but not before Pfeiffer's got a first down. And honestly, Mark, Pfeiffer's been effective here tonight.
And as always, he's been effective defensively.
9 carries now, 50 yards for Bill Pfeiffer. First and 10 for the Crusaders across their own 40. Delsea down by 8, 14-6. Here's Reimel with a carry out near midfield to the 49. That's his most effective run of the night as he picks up 8 on first down.
Didn't look too bad there, did he?
No, he just has not had his number called a lot so far here in the ball game, but he gets it done here and he gets the job done.
And again, great blocking up front there. We talked about Greg Wynn defensively, but 57 really cleared the way on offense that time.
On second down, it's Reimel again spinning his way forward near a first down.
Well, you know what happened? He ran into Shakri Barfield, number 53, the 6'4", 290-pound senior. As we said, Barfield is verbal to Clemson, Jack, but it's only a verbal, and there's some other schools that have been in on him a little bit. Penn State among them. Watch 53 right there. And Reimel shows his toughness by bouncing off him.
Reimel, by the way, came into the contest with 126 carries on the season and almost 900 yards. 12 touchdowns to go along with that. Couple of consecutive carries. Let's see what they do here on first down. It's Reimel again. This time he's caught right near the line of scrimmage, picks up maybe a yard.
On the carry.
That's about it.
Pickup of 1.
Camden doing a great job. Teron Williams, we talked about him again, 51, making the big play there for the Panthers.
4 minutes and 50 seconds to go. You see the time at the top of your screen, remaining here in the third quarter. Delsea trying to get back in this one. Down by 8. Second down and 9. Pfeiffer in motion. They'll go up the middle with, or rather it was Reimel in motion. They go up the middle with Pfeiffer, and he takes a big hit after a pickup of about 2.
Barfield again there.
You talk about a load, Mark. Shariki Barfield, 6'4", 290 senior, ba-boom.
And you know what else, Jack? He's a very agile athlete. He's a member of Clarence Turner's basketball team there, and a guy that I think is going to see some minutes this year in the front court.
You would think he'd be a pretty decent presence on the basketball court, huh?
Wouldn't want to drive the lane, I'll tell you that.
No, because you see what happened moments ago? That hurts a lot worse on the hardwood. Here's Pfeiffer on third down with a run of about 8 and enough for a Crusader first down. They'll move the chains as they get the ball to the 34-yard line, or rather the 37-yard line.
Jack, that was a nice job by Pfeiffer, but again, he was chased, as you said, 8 yards downfield. Barfield makes the tackle, 53.
Well, proving why he's getting so much notice. In fact, I was a little early on my call of first down. They spot the ball back. Coaches of Delsea have their hands up like, what in the world are you doing to us? I thought he had plenty enough for the first down, but it's going to be 4th and less than a yard.
Going to make it 4th and about 1 foot.
Now the coaches are asking for a timeout, as they'll talk about it and stop the clock with 3:12. We'll take a break also. 14-6 Camden. We'll be back after these words. Well, Delsea used a timeout, and now during the timeout, the coaches have asked for a measurement. They believe it's close enough to do that, and I thought it was almost a first down. There you see the exact amount needed, and that's a little over a foot.
In fairness, you weren't off by a whole lot there.
I think, though, a good timeout, Mark, rather than try to run that play without talking about it. This is a very important play in this ball game. Delsea down by a score of 14-6.
See, they're in a tight formation. I'm telling you, I think it would be a gamble, but if Dawson was able to fake the Pfeiffer and roll out, he could get himself some yardage, because look how pitched in Camden's defense is.
I was just going to say, not only is the offense in a tight formation, but look at the defense. Everybody up on the line of scrimmage. They will give it to Pfeiffer. He's hitting the backfield, and it'll be close. I'll tell you what, did you see the penetration of Tyron Williams?
Yep.
My, oh my, he doesn't think that Pfeiffer got it, but his outstretched body might be enough. Let's wait and see about the measurement. It is going to be close.
I think that's a pretty good spot there.
I'll
say they made it, but Teron Williams that time.
Well, look where the ball is, too. It wasn't reached, the ball wasn't reached out when his knee hit, and I think he got about another ball's length worth of measurement. And guess what? Camden makes the stop.
Wow.
Terrific play by Williams. He was untouched as he came in and made the hit on Pfeiffer, and Camden has the ball back. Well, they say it's a game of inches, right, partner?
Well, it goes to show you my eyes aren't as good as they used to be. I thought with the spot he got it, but look at Williams on the penetration. Again, everyone was playing up for that. I thought a little rollout would have gotten some yardage there, but Delsea wanted to play it close to the vest. And this Camden defense, we've talked about them all night, once again with a big play.
Mark, that's only the second time of the ball game that Pfeiffer has been stopped for less than a yard pickup in a running attempt. 1st and 10. Speaking of running, this guy hasn't done much of it. Shamari Moore only had 1 carry so far here in the second half after picking up 73 yards in the first half. He gets a couple there on first down.
I'll make a prediction. He will be in double figures for the half before we're finished here.
Yeah, well, he's going to get the bulk of activity. At 17 carries in the first half, so 19 so far in the ball game. 2nd and 8. Camden's thrown a couple of different formations, and by the way, it's Nathaniel Brown at quarterback right now for the Panthers. They'll give it to Rowe. Rowe just trying to follow some blocks and does pick up a couple of yards out near the 44-yard line. We've seen, though, Mark, Delsea do a better job defensively of clogging up some holes. Camden, that is, not finding quite the success they did running the football early in this game.
You know, Camden just thought about, Jack, going no huddle, something they've done from time to time this year. I think better move to get in here and get everything straightened here on third down.
You see Rowe goes to the sideline to talk things over with Coach. He'll go back to the bread and butter. Shamari Moore, though, cannot get outside. He's still on his feet, but actually is going to lose yardage back to the 40 or 41-yard line. And that'll be a defensive stop for Delsea. Well, they ran to the short side of the field that time, and Delsea clogged it up nicely.
What you almost think is that Camden's saying, we're going to just let our defense win this game for us. As you mentioned, and again, Sharon Walker, number 85, has played a great game, coming up on the run, number 85. And he's the other guy that has been getting very close to these Carl Smith punts. Let's watch it. 85 from the left outside.
Good snap this time. And they sealed off Walker. The punt is fumbled momentarily by Hartman. Now he runs away from the coverage. Hartman to the 25, out across the 30, cuts it back inside and gets to the 34-yard line. Stopped on the play by Camden's Deshaun Jackson. Great game here tonight for you on CN8. We'll have more terrific action on Comcast Varsity Sports Zone tomorrow. It's a great time of the year, these playoffs, where coaches, players, and fans will all get pumped up. It doesn't get any better than this, so if you're looking for some of the region's best hard-hitting high school football action, keep it tuned right here to CN8. Roman Catholic versus Cardinal O'Hara. For you folks in Pennsylvania, Delaware, and South Jersey, in northern New Jersey, West Mars Central will be in our other game. Injured player on the field across the way with 1:28 left to go.
By the way, how big does that missed extra point now loom for Delsea?
Yeah, huge at the moment, because with time winding down here in the third quarter, obviously they've got to be concerned about trying to get even in this one, down by 8. There you see Deshaun Jackson, who made the hit on this near side of the field, evidently couldn't quite make it to the opposite sideline after making the tackle. By the way, West Mars Central taking on Livingston in that other game tomorrow, right here on CN8 in the North Jersey State playoffs. Livingston, the top seed there at 8-0.
Yeah, we have to say, in New Jersey, they do not have actual state champions for public schools.
Right.
They're sectional champs, even though they call themselves state champs. The only true state champions are in the parochials.
Right.
A lot of the states watching, people from the other states might find that a little bit odd, but like in South Jersey, you only go as far as being a South Jersey champ.
And a lot of talk about trying to come up with some formula that would bring a state champion. Nobody really interested in having that long of a football season, I don't think.
Well, they do it in Pennsylvania.
They start, a week earlier? And it would mean at least that here in South Jersey. Reimel with a carry on first down, and he's tripped up near the line of scrimmage. Shamari Moore comes up from the defensive secondary to make the stop for Camden.
We talk about, again, that's Fuchs playing off a block. I mean, he's done everything today. He's starting quarterback. We've seen him in the backfield. He's been a force on defense.
So second down now. 45 seconds to go here in the third. Reimel in motion. That draws some attention from Camden and will finally draw a flag. I believe that will be defensive encroachment. Didn't look like anybody on the offense moved. Officials will sort it out, and here's your call.
Dead ball, encroachment, defense, still second.
So 5-yard penalty and second down again for Delsea.
They're making second and
A key tonight is this Camden defensive line has just not been holding its ground, and Delsea has not been getting great initial surge.
A little bit more room here on second down. And it looks like the Crusaders have enough for a first down this time on the run by Pfeiffer. That's their third first down here of the second half.
Keep in mind, the winner of this game faces the winner of Hamilton-Pemberton. And Hamilton, a quiet team that nobody mentioning, but quietly has won 7 in a row since that opening loss to Oakcrest. And, of course, usually in Group 2, but the Blue Devils know what to do in the postseason. 3 sectional titles in school history.
They'll be on the road against the Hornets tomorrow. Dawson keeps it, and folks runs him out of play at the 49-yard line. And that should do it for the third quarter of play. The run by the quarterback here.
Still been running to the short side of the field. Look at Fuchs. He's made about every tackle this quarter.
That'll do it for 3 quarters here in this opening round South Jersey Group 3 playoff. The 7th seed Camden Panthers with a 14-6 lead. We'll be back with the fourth quarter after this. 12 minutes remain in this one. The underdog Camden Panthers with a 14-6 lead against the Delsea Crusaders. Delsea with the football into Camden territory here to start the fourth quarter. I'm Jack Hibbard along with Marc Narducci. We welcome you back John Oberg Stadium, Delsea High School's home field. Josh Reimel, who's been quiet tonight with a healthy pickup on second down, and he's inside the 40 to the 37 for another Crusader first down. That's the explosiveness of Josh Reimel, and something we've been looking for all night long.
Again, he waited for his block, and then the hole just opened. If Pfeiffer was in front of him, he was looking to hit somebody. You're right. They really need Reimel to get going this quarter.
Pfeiffer's done a great job, and he's back there split in the backfield. Play action pass, first pass of the night, and they were trying to get it downfield to Lamash, but that ball well off the mark. Lamash was open, Mark, for a second, but the ball not on the money.
Jack, he was open for more than a second. If that ball was delivered there, the ex-quarterback would have had himself a touchdown.
That, though, here with 11:34 left in the ball game, the first passing attempt of the night for the Crusaders. That wouldn't have surprised us had it been said about Camden, but
well, keep in mind, though, Delsea is not a team that has thrown a whole lot. I mean, Dawson only attempted 43 passes coming into tonight.
He'll attempt another one here on second down, and he's got Reimel open. He cuts inside the defender and gets down to the 14-yard line. And when I say open, I mean open, Mark. It wasn't a defender on Josh Reimel. That time, the sophomore Dawson right on the mark.
Well, we said coming in, Reimel was actually their leading receiver with 7 receptions. And the key is great pass protection. Nobody picked Reimel up coming out of the backfield. He was wide open there.
Reimel actually had to wait for that, and he hadn't hit him in stride. It might have been 6. He's alone back now with the other running backs in the slot on first down. Mouton in motion. Reimel right up the middle. Reimel at the 1-yard line. They say he was down right in front of the goal line, but a pickup of about 13, and all of a sudden Josh Reimel is a very active part of this football game.
Great trap blocking there by Delsea and Reimel. Look at him trying to keep his balance there. He obviously knows what it's like to be in the end zone. He's been there 12 times already this year.
Marc Reimel now with 40 yards rushing in the second half, 23 receiving. And now I believe we're going to have an illegal substitution call on Camden, as I think they had 12 men in the huddle. Somebody tried to sneak off, but I think they got caught.
Jack, if they move it any closer, it'll be on the goal line.
Substitution infraction on the defense, half the distance, still first down.
Here's another look at this last play, right on the goal line. You be the judge.
Coming at you, let's see where he falls the arm.
Oh, I don't know. I'll tell you what, that looked like 6, didn't it? The knee wasn't down. The football broke the plane. We have another penalty here on 1st and goal. We can move it an inch at a time if we need to, right? We'll take another look.
Dead ball. Encroachment. There. Still first.
Jack, it cannot get any closer. I mean, if there's another penalty.
They may not even move the football. I mean, when the nose is touching the line, there's not much you can do. Here's another look at this play.
There he comes.
Ball has to break the plane, remember, so
yeah.
Any part of that line's a touchdown. Quarterback sneak. It's good. Delsea within 2. As Dawson just leans forward and gets the 6, it's 14-12, and now the Crusaders will line up for a very crucial 2-point conversion. Remember, Lamish missed the extra point on the first touchdown, so that has put the Crusaders in need to go for 2 here. So a huge play in this ball game. You said it earlier, Mark. How big is that missed extra point? It's huge at the moment.
Second timeout by Delsea now, too.
Well, that's big also. I mean, there's still plenty of time at this, 10:22. And the Crusaders are down to their final timeout, having burned their second here.
Hey, Jack, both of these teams have a little bit of history. They both won their first ever sectional title in 1976.
Right, in the same year.
And both of them were 11-0. Camden back then was in Group 4, Delsea in Group 2.
There's a look at the timeout situation. Interestingly enough, Delsea's gone on to win after that Camden's only sectional title.
Camden's had everyone knows about the basketball history and everything, but Art Still, Derek Ramsey, they've had some great football players who have gone on in the NFL.
Well, Delsea at the beginning of the game wanted to accomplish this.
They've held more. The mistakes in offense and the special teams, they got the turnover that set up their first touchdown. Jack, I keep saying this, but I'd roll Dawson out. And Reimel.
They're having problems here and may have to take their final timeout. Let's see. No? Dawson was looking to the sideline like he wasn't sure about what was going on, and now they have motion on the play. How about that? The whistle hasn't blown. Dawson runs, and he's caught. He gets rid of the football. It's tipped up in the air and out of play, and no flags on the play, so Camden will hold on to a 2-point lead.
That is one of the strangest plays I've ever seen.
Boy, Dawson is furious. He was looking at the sideline. He seemed to be very confused about what was happening on the 2-point conversion. They waved to him to go ahead and do the play anyway, and then there was all kinds of confusion. It looked like on the snap count. Look, you got guys running forward, the ball being snapped, and then they still had a chance because nobody jumped off sides. It looked like they had committed a penalty, but the ball was actually snapped. It's just half the team didn't move.
It looked like he thought it was a penalty there and just stopped. It's one of the strangest plays I've ever seen.
Mike Gandy, you saw after the snap, just kind of put his hands on the helmet like either he snapped on the wrong count or, I don't know what happened there, but we'll have to find out later. But the story is 14-12 Camden with 10:22 left to go. We looked at Delsea's keys moments ago. Marc Peace gave us his ideas. Wanted to control the line of scrimmage. He wanted to play big play on defense, which he's done, and he wanted to move the chains.
They've done all three.
They've done all three. They really have.
They've controlled both lines of scrimmages.
And you think about the big play defense. You remember earlier in this half when there was a 4th down and less than a yard, maybe only about 8 to 12 inches, they came up with a huge play there to get the ball back, and that killed a drive. And then just think about how they moved the chains in that first quarter with a 20-play drive.
5 first downs in that drive, absolutely.
Delsea to kick off after getting within 2.
One thing, Jack, there is plenty of time for Delsea.
This is Moore on the return. He gets a block and gets to the outside. There is a flag laying at the 35-yard line, and Moore is out of play at the 42.
Jack, Camden has gone 3 and out the last couple series. So, again, Delsea has shown it can stop the Panthers here.
Yeah, I was going to put a little asterisk on that last one, moving the chains, because they have not done it in the second half. They did it in the first half, but have not controlled the clock here in the second half. There's a look at the last scoring drive for the Crusaders. They went 65 yards in 8 plays. And, of course, capped off by the touchdown by Dawson, but that was after finally taking to the air and completing a 23-yard pass to Reimel, which set the thing
distance, first down.
So the return out to the 42 wiped out. This will place the ball all the way back to the 13-yard line after the penalty. And really important for the Panthers here to, if you're a Camden fan, to at least pick up a couple of first downs. Nathaniel Brown in at quarterback. They line up in an I formation. Receivers split left and right for the Panthers, and on first down they'll give it to Moore, who gets about 2 to the 15.
Here's the problem. I think, as I said before, I thought Camden was getting a little conservative and maybe hoping it's defense. And just as I say that, they go no huddle.
Yeah, so much for conservative, huh? No huddle. They go right back to Moore on second down. He does get to the outside this time and gets out near the 20-yard line. Will be a couple of yards shy of a first down. The clock continues to run with 9:40 left here in the ball game. And Mark, you said it. This team has done this a couple of times this year, hurried up their offense and gotten back to the line of scrimmage, and that's what they're doing here again on third down without a huddle. They go right back to Moore, and this time Moore caught in the backfield. We're right at the line of scrimmage once again, and we've called his number a lot so far in this ball game. Sharon Walker got penetration that time for the Crusaders.
I don't know. I don't know why you would go no huddle at this stage when you're up to. I know they're trying to keep the pace of the game quick.
Well, Mark, do they realize that it's fourth down?
I don't know. I think they're going to. Isn't Smith in the up back there? I think they're going to realize this.
It's fourth down at the 20-yard line, and they're going for it. How about that? And he's caught in the backfield, and Camden will turn the ball over on downs. I don't understand that at all. You're winning 14-12 with 8:40 left, and you go for it on fourth down.
Jack, they must have lost count of the downs. I can't believe that they would do that. Wow, what a break for Delsea.
Well, I got to tell you something, Mark. If that happened, and that's what really happened, and this wasn't intentional, you know, we heard a lot of comments from Coach Peace about not making stupid mistakes. That's a stupid mistake, and that one's on the coaches, if that's what happened.
Well, remember Steve Spurrier went for first down when he was on his 25 with the Redskins.
Unbelievable. The Crusaders get it back at the 17-yard line. This is a gift. Josh Reimel on first down gets the feet going and gets inside the 10-yard line. Reimel had a very quiet first half. In fact, he was in negative yardage, but he is on fire now. Late in the third and the beginning of the fourth here, a pickup of 11. The Crusaders have a first and goal. First and 10 inside the, or first and goal inside the 10 with the ball at the 6-yard line. They'll go back to Reimel again. He slithers his way forward and gets to about the 3.
Jack, this might sound crazy, but going no huddle, they may have just lost track of things. I mean,
it's just, you know, I don't, under any circumstance, Mark, I don't think there's an excuse. I mean, you can see if the kids lost track of it, but why wouldn't you call a timeout?
I'm not saying about excuses. I'm saying that's just what may have happened.
And I'll tell you one thing, the guy on the chains didn't lose track of it because it was marked fourth down over there, and we all knew it here. Reimel and Moton split in the backfield. Here comes Pfeiffer in motion. They'll go back to Josh Reimel. No, Dawson keeps it. He's got an opening, and Dawson's got a touchdown. Delsea with their first lead of the ball game. Well, they did not have far to go. Just 24 yards after Camden turned it over on downs. But it takes just a couple of plays for them to have their first lead of the ball game. (18-14), and the Crusaders will go for two. Dawson to throw. It's intercepted, and that will end the two-point conversion. So again, the conversion fails, but nevertheless, a 4-point lead for the Crusaders on a very strange set of circumstances. Mark, you and I have done a lot of games over the years, but I don't think we've ever seen anything unfold like that.
Jack, all I can say is people can make mistakes. They had to lose track of the downs. That's it. And
what a critical time to do it, though, here in the first round of the South Jersey Group 3 playoffs.
I mean, if people got on me for every mistake I made, I wouldn't be on the air.
Well, but you're right. You're right. I mean, we've made our host of mistakes even tonight, but that's a pretty critical one, especially when it gives a team a chance to get on top for the first time tonight.
Because I can't believe at 4th and 6 that was the strategy. So, but you know what, Jack? Just as I said there was enough time for Delsea, there's 7:29 left in this game, and first of all, Camden can be explosive on a kickoff return. This one's far from over.
Yeah. Well, we were watching. I don't know about you. I was watching the sideline. I couldn't see anything specific going on there to whether we were tipped off that the mistake happened over there or not. But it doesn't matter. It's 18-14 Delsea. However it happened, it happened. It was a strange set of circumstances, but a terrific gift from Camden to the Crusaders to get on top.
The thing I never could see is why they go in a no-huddle offense.
I agree with you.
Up a couple points and
maybe just unsuccessful offensively so far here in the second half. They were trying desperately to get a little change up. Here's a pitch back to Moore, and that won't work. In fact, they actually end up losing yardage. You can understand why Dwayne Ford wanted to give it to the premier back, but Moore couldn't do anything with it, and the Panthers will send the offense back out on the field.
I'll tell you, they've been stopping Moore on the run, and I'd send him out of the backfield and try to see what he can do as a receiver, because he's very, very dangerous that way.
Well, Moore with only 5 yards here in this second half, Mark. 5 yards on 6 carries. 5 yards on 6 carries, Mark, for Moore so far in the second half. He had 73 in the first half, only 78 now.
Jack, we got another look at Fuchs, who's back on the sidelines there, and we certainly hope he's okay.
Well, here comes Camden with their wide receiver formation on first down. And problems in the backfield. They give it to Moore, who reverses field and makes something out of nothing. How about that?
Jack, I don't know if that was they were going to try to do a halfback option there, but it looked like they were going to do something different on that play. It didn't unfold very quickly,
yeah,
and
something didn't look right, that's for sure.
Moore did a nice job of improvising that time.
And a penalty flag. It's going to hurt the Panthers. It looks like this one's coming back. Good effort by Moore, but it's going to be wiped out.
That ball's coming back.
Illegal use of hands on the offense. Still first down.
This will back up the Panthers inside the 10-yard line.
It looked like a busted play there. And Moore again showing his great ability to improvise.
They'll spot the ball at the 8-yard line. They need to get to the 28 for a first. On first down, that's going to be a safety. Boy, we're seeing all kinds of things you don't normally see here. Brown caught in the end zone, and that's a 2-point play for Delsea, who now gets the 2-point conversion they wanted a minute ago. They're up by 6 now and should get the ball back in great field position, because now they'll get it on the punt.
Greg Wynn, A.J. Jubb were two of the guys in there that time. And again, at first, he had pretty good protection. Excuse me. Jubb there, 54 was in there, and Wynn also closing up.
You know, there again, Mark, though, 1st and 20 with the ball all the way back on your 8. You know, your main weapon is your running back. You'd think you'd want a little bit of breathing room so that Brown wouldn't have to stand in the pocket in the end zone.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jack. I agree with what they did because they had been running the ball. Delsea had been just stopping them every play, and I agree with Camden at least looking to go in the air. I had called for them to maybe go to more out of the backfield or something like that. So I think they had to make something happen because they just haven't been moving the ball on the ground.
By the way, I said a punt upcoming. It's a free kick, so you can do what you want, and they're going to tee it up at the 20.
Normally you do see the punt at this.
Because usually you can get a little bit more, and especially hang time, so it cuts down the return. But Camden's going to go ahead and kick it from the 20-yard line.
What happened?
So the ball will be fielded at the 40 of Delsea and will end up in Camden territory. Reimel gets it to the 43. A late flag is thrown, so we've got a penalty. It could be an unsportsmanlike conduct or something here at the end of the play. Let's wait and see about this. It is a personal foul, a face mask against the Camden Panthers, so that will tack 15 yards and make this situation even more desperate for Camden. Boy, has this game turned around in the last few moments.
Personal foul, face mask on the kicking team. First down.
Well, Mark, one of the keys for Camden was to stay away from mistakes that would hurt them, and they played a pretty mistake-free game right up until the beginning of this fourth quarter, but it's starting to unravel for the Panthers.
Well, they've done a nice job defensively up to this point, and just as Delsea needed some stops early on to set the tone, now Camden does right here.
Well, the Panthers have to realize this thing isn't over. I'll tell you one guy that does, that's Shariki Barfield, and he's in to make the stop on first down. Pickup of only one. 9 penalties marked now, 90 yards in penalties against Camden.
Ron Leary, number 52, in there as well. See, the thing about Delsea, when Delsea gets a position like this, the Crusaders have a history of smelling it and really going for the victory and assuring things here.
Here's Pfeiffer, who hasn't carried in a while, and he bulls his way forward near the 20-yard line.
Besides the breaks that Delsea's gotten, the fact that Reimel has gotten off here in the second half, I mean, they're obviously a much more explosive team when he's a big part of this offense.
Yeah, 50 yards for Reimel here in the second half, who only had -3 in the first. And remember, only had 4 carries. He's got 13 now, Mark, so he's been an integral part of this comeback for Delsea. And you knew that somewhere along the line he was going to play a big part. Dawson will keep, and Dawson gets tackled from behind after a pickup of only 1. He'll be short of the first down. Karstafen again showing his quickness to get out there and make the play.
Yeah, how many tackles has Karstafen made away from the line of scrimmage?
Well, you talked about critical plays. There's another look.
And look at that. And Dawson can move, and Karstafen was running with him step for step, and there was Ford there as well.
You talked about critical plays, Mark. This is it probably for Camden. I mean, 5 minutes left in this ball game, and it's 4th and 2. And if you're the Panthers, you just got to make a stop here. They're going to pitch it to Reimel. He's got a little daylight, and he's got a first down and more. Josh Reimel to the 12-yard line, and the Crusaders' drive continues. The clock continues to roll, and things looking in favor of the second seed Crusaders at the moment.
Reimel again showing this great cutback move. See, there, Camden was all going one way, and he made the cutback and was able to do it. Here it is, coming at you. A different angle.
First down, ball at the 12-yard line of Camden. They'll go up the middle with Pfeiffer, and I don't think anybody knew he had the football. Touchdown! Bill Pfeiffer, his second of the night. But there is a flag on the play back at the 16-yard line. It's thrown away from the line of scrimmage. So let's wait and see if this impacts the touchdown or not. It doesn't look like it. I think it's going to be against the Panthers. Let's wait and see. Yeah, in fact, they're talking to the Panthers, trying to get some calm.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense. It's enforced on the try, half the distance.
So now the emotions starting to unravel, as well as the game at hand. 26-14 Delsea.
Which means Delsea will likely go for it now if they get half the distance instead of having Lamish come in and try to kick.
Right, that would make it a 14-point difference and 2 full touchdowns needed by Camden. Delsea with some confusion again, though, on the extra point try, and they'll have to use their last time out. We thought that, not too long ago, Mark, I think with about 10 minutes left in the game, we thought that would have something to do with this game. Doesn't look like it's going to matter now, up by a score of 26-14 and trying to get more. We'll be back for the extra point attempt in just a moment. 4:21 left. Here's the touchdown that puts Delsea up 26-14. And the Crusaders then had to use a timeout, which is where we took a break. So we're getting set for the extra point attempt. The tide of this game has changed so dramatically. Just moments ago, Camden was leading 14-12. In fact, they were leading 14-6 for a long time at this one. And a bizarre set of circumstances has set up a real roll right now by the Crusaders.
It's hard to believe it was 14-6 beginning the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, incredible. Josh Reimel, untouched, in for 2, and with 4:21 left, it's 28-14. The last couple of plays, the touchdown and the 2-point conversion, you can just sort of see the air coming out of the Camden balloon as now all of a sudden Delsea winning it up front. Reimel wasn't touched. The 2-point conversion good. If you just joined us, folks, Mark mentioned moments ago this game was 14-6 at the beginning of the fourth quarter. And as we said, just a bizarre set of circumstances to set this thing up, including Camden going for a 4th down and 4th and 6. Deep in their own territory. They ended up getting stopped. We're not quite sure what the thinking was at that point, but they went into a hurry-up offense prior to that, and then on a hurry-up situation, they got to the line of scrimmage, and on 4th and 6 were stopped. That was the gift that Delsea needed to get back in the lead. And then on the ensuing possession, Camden got caught in the end zone for a safety. Delsea gets great field position back, and as you can see, have just banged it ahead for a 2-touchdown lead, 28-14 with just 4:21 left. Delsea in their last 3 possessions, Mark, and they've been fast. 3 quick touchdowns. They lead it now 28-14.
Sal Marquez up there in the coach's booth, I think a little more relaxed, although he never relaxes too much, but now that his team's leading 28-14. Of course, Sal was a player here before and had a fine career here.
Boy, I
His
tell you what.
His father was a long-time assistant here.
If you're Delsea, there's just got to be this huge feeling of relief at the moment because they were in a dogfight here coming into under 12 minutes to go.
Keep in mind, Camden scared the number 1 team in South Jersey, at least in our rankings, Camden Catholic, losing by 2. I mean, nobody wanted to face this Camden team because it has the ability to beat anybody in South Jersey.
Well, the knock on Camden is, will they beat themselves? And you'd have to say here in the fourth quarter that they've done it, although they're making a little threat here with a terrific return into Delsea territory. To the 45 goes Wayne Smalls. And Camden has great field position. And, Mark, 4:07 left, all their timeouts. If they get a quick one here, then you start getting nervous again if you're Delsea. Hey, don't forget, coming up tomorrow, or rather tonight, boxing returns. Right here on CN8, Philadelphia's own Yvonne Robinson takes on USBA junior welterweight champion Michael Stewart in a 12-round ball. We'll also see on the card Anthony Thompson. He'll look to extend his unbeaten streak to 14 wins. The hard-hitting action comes right here tonight at 7 o'clock on CN8. First down and 10 for the Camden Panthers on the Delsea 45-yard line, and Brown will go to the air, down by 2 touchdowns. He'll take off now and get caught in the backfield. A.J. Jubb in to make the stop. Looked for a moment that Brown was going to get out of there, and Jubb just grabbed him by the ankle at the last second.
Jubb's had a tremendous game here. He was in on that safety. And look at him just fighting off the block, fighting it, and again, as usual, Brown had time. And look, Jack, he was falling back, and he makes the tackle.
No huddle again for Camden, and Brown under great pressure and is going to be dropped all the way back at the 31-yard line. Man, oh man. I think there's been a little change of emotion here.
Well, they have him boxed in there, and he just can't get by Gandy, 66, who puts him away.
Jubb again in there, though. He's a little fired up, and Camden will call a timeout. 3:15 to go. This is going to be third down, but it's third and eternity. The ball all the way back at the 33-yard line, their own 33. They need to get to the 35 of Delsea for a first down. Hey, tune in tomorrow at 2:30 for CN8's coverage of the South Atlantic Regional Figure Skating Championships. You'll want to join CN8's Lou Tilley and U.S. Figure Skating Hall of Famer JoJo Starbuck. You'll see the future stars of American figure skating right here on CN8. That's tomorrow at 2:30.
Well, if Camden has any 3rd and 32 plays in its playbook, now's the time to unleash it. Again, if Delsea holds on to win, let's say this has been a fine showing by Camden. I mean, there's no question about it. It's been an excellent year for the Panthers, qualifying for the Group 3 playoffs.
And Mark, I think a great showing by this Delsea defense in the second half. I mean, you think about what Camden did to him in the first half, and especially this guy, and they've pretty much shut that thing down. Moore will get out to the 44-yard line, but that's a long way from the first down marker. It'll be 4th down with 3:07 left to go. No, you're right. They had Delsea scared. I think we'll hear that from the coach at the end of the game. There's the screen pass to...
Actually, that looked like a lateral. That was behind the line of scrimmage.
You're right. He did. He jumped back there.
Yeah, I'd give him 11 on the carry.
Right, a rushing attempt, which will make for the most effective run for Moore in the second half. A little unconventional in getting it. Brown's got some time, and he's going downfield. He's got a receiver open, and he's got a first down inside the 35-yard line.
First down.
So all is not lost yet for Camden, as Teron Murray was open there. That's his second catch of the night, and an important one there, which gets the Panthers a first down. He's hurt on the play, as you can see.
He took a shot there. He took a deep drop. Brown threw this about as far as he could, and this is the second big play. Look how wide open Murray is.
Right arm, and you can see it was the helmet to the elbow, but a flag on the play, Mark, is going to wipe this out. How about that? Back at the line of scrimmage, and it's probably a hold. Boy, tough break for Camden, who had a first down. And an unsportsmanlike conduct tacked on just for good measure. Well, they're sorting things out here on the field.
On the offense. And then dead ball, unsportsmanlike, on the bench. 4th down.
Well, we heard from our guys in the truck, Mark, that somebody actually came onto the field from the bench area. you have to wonder
Well, let's
why.
see. Well, we don't know. A, we can't say if it did happen or not, but I'd like to see how they lined up before the play to see if Murray was there.
Well, at any rate, the holding call and the unsportsmanlike conduct puts Camden all the way back on the 15-yard line.
By the way, how about the Thanksgiving Day game? Camden and Wilson, one of the great rivalries in South Jersey, dating back to 1912.
Mark, it is 4th down and 50.
They ought to do, see, I thought Moore was going to try to throw the ball that time.
Yeah, really could have tried a trick play at that point, but they didn't.
Fuchs.
They'll turn the ball over, and with 2:45 left to go, Delsea will take over deep in Camden territory. I got to tell you, Mark, I mean, I know it's desperation time. I think I'd had to think about punting the ball just to avoid the embarrassment, maybe another Delsea score. We'll see what happens with 2:45 left.
You know what, though, Jack? I like Camden's spirit. They're saying, look, if we punt it, we're never going to win. At least we have a shot if we, can get a 50-yard play or something. So you have to admire the spirit. I mean, if they lose by 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, what's it matter?
You're right. It doesn't. 1st and 10, and Reimel will carry on 1st down. He takes a shot in the backfield from Barfield. He stayed on his feet, and now Barfield comes back and makes the tackle. Well, I'll tell you what. There's one guy that's not going to quit on you. And he's shown that time and time again. That was a great second effort by the outstanding senior at Camden. Watch this.
I mean, this is 290 pounds. Look at Reimel as he gets pushed back there, and he keeps up. Now, Reimel's 172, and he's coming back for more. Now he runs into one of his own players there.
Yeah, that helped Barfield a
and
little
there
bit,
is
but
Barfield.
still, that's a great effort.
Yep.
Down to the final 2 minutes of play here in the 4th quarter. 2nd down and 12, but Delsea probably more interested in running the clock than anything else at the moment. Reimel with the carry right up the middle, and what a second half he's had. This has been a tale of 2 halves for this offense. It was Pfeiffer who got the call most of the first half, and now Reimel's really lit it up here in the second half.
Well, we've also seen what a different team Delsea is when Reimel gets involved like this, Jack. And it was something they needed. A very different team offensively.
He now has over 60 yards rushing, all in the second half. Officials call a timeout. It looks like we've got either an equipment problem or an injury. And that'll stop the clock with 1:24 left to go. Looks like Fuchs is being assisted to the sideline. He actually was assisted by the official. So I'm wondering if it was an equipment problem instead of an injury. At any rate, he goes to the bench with 1:24 left. But this game, which looked like it was all night long going to go down to the wire, obviously is not. Delsea with a 2-touchdown lead, and they have the football as time winds down here in this one. Mouton in motion. Reimel gets the carry and gets about a yard to the 8 or 9 yard line. It'll bring up 4th down. And the Crusaders will take their time as Dawson walks to the sideline to get his play.
Actually, I would take a delay of game penalty and just run things out here.
Well, the problem is if you take a delay of game penalty, you still have to run a play on 4th down. But I understand what you're saying. They'll just pitch it to Reimel. Reimel's got a couple of blocks in front of him, and Josh Reimel inside the 5-yard line.
Jack,
and that'll probably do it.
This play shows me the spirit of Camden. I mean, this game is over, and that defense is just running to the ball, hustling. It typifies a kind of season this Camden team has that they just never give up.
Yeah, in fact, Camden now will take over with the ball.
Yep.
Just inside the 5.
I mean, look at that. They didn't want Delsea to score that last time.
No.
They're showing a lot of pride there for
fact, you could see the defensive players kind of celebrating the stop there with 27 seconds left.
So kind of a little victory within the defeat for Camden, but again, really showing, I think, the character of this team. And how about the character of Delsea, who was outplayed for a long, long time in this game and just kept hanging in there and taking advantage of the breaks it was given.
Well, and let's say this. I mean, it's been a long time since Camden has had an opportunity to play a meaningful game this late in the season, since 1988. So give the Panthers just a tremendous amount of credit for being here, and then not only for being here, but, not playing like a 7 seed for sure. I mean, they certainly had Delsea concerned. Now look at this. On maybe the last play of the game, looks like Fuchs has it. He's limping a little bit.
He's limping. Again, it shows such heart by him.
He does not get out of bounds. He gets a first down, but I do not think. Now there's a late flag on the play. And Josh Reimel.
We don't need this.
Yeah, Josh Reimel and Tyron Williams going after it a little bit. After the play, now the coach is on the field. Delsea coaches and players on the field, and now the officials are trying to make sure that everybody stays on the sideline. And you're right, Mark, with just a couple of seconds left, we don't need it. The officials have not signaled the time to expire, and it does. That'll do it. Ball game over. The Delsea Crusaders win it by a final of 28-14. We'll be back to wrap it up from John Oberg Stadium right after this. 28-14, the final here at John Oberg Stadium as the hometown Delsea Crusaders prevail in the opening round of the South Jersey Group 3 playoffs. I'm Jack Hibbard along with Marc Narducci. Time now for our Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey play of the game. And this one really came under some bizarre circumstances, which we'll explain in a moment. But the play of the game goes to the sophomore quarterback, George Dawson, who puts him up for good here. This is the first lead for them with about 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Delsea, as we said, went on to prevail in this one. Here's a look at your final statistics. And interestingly enough, something that this page, Mark, does not show is the great defensive effort by Delsea in the second half, because if folks were with us and remember the halftime statistics, Camden actually had minus 45 yards in offense in the second half.
Yeah, great job in the second half by the Delsea defense. They got breaks, and they were able to capitalize. Greg Wynn leading the way.
Mark, in fairness, we said that that play happened under bizarre circumstances, and I think we ought to explain. We said that perhaps Camden lost track of downs. That's not really what happened.
No, we talked to Marc Peace after the game. What it was, and the scoreboard said 4th and 6, Jack. It was 4th and 3. From around Camden on its own 20, and Marc Peace said, no, we wanted to go. We thought we could get the 3 yards. Our defense had been on the field too long, and we thought we could do it. Well, so I give him credit. He's standing up. He talked about the decision.
They didn't make it, obviously, and Delsea got the go-ahead touchdown and prevailed. Now let's take a look at our player of the game, and here's a guy, Mark, that only had minus 3 yards at halftime, but boy, did Josh Reimel wake up, and this 23-yard pass play really got him going.
It really did. It set up the touchdown, and look how wide open he was. And again, he's their leading receiver, too. That was his 8th reception of the season. There you see the 19 carries, 71 yards, and then that one reception for 23 yards. He was a difference here in the second half.
15 carries, 74 yards for Reimel in the second half. So here you go, Delsea, who's in familiar territory, Mark, winning this first round of the South Jersey Group 3 playoffs by a final of 28-14. Thanks for being with us, everybody. For my partner, Marc Narducci, for all of us here at CN8, I'm Jack Hibbard. So long, everybody.